Member for Scarborough Agincourt.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you on your election as a Speaker. I'm confident that your experience and the skills make you the ideal individual for the position, and you will do us proud by guiding the legislature over the next 4 years. I would like also to congratulate my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for the great privilege that the people have entrusted in them for being part of class of 2018. Mr. Speaker, I am humbled to stand here today to address this august chamber as the first Canadian Armenian to serve not only in the Ontario legislature but also in any other provincial legislature in this wonderful country of ours. Who would have thought that on the 40th anniversary of my arrival to Canada as a refugee, I would be bestowed the distinct honor of serving the Crown and the people of Ontario. I owe this privilege to the people of Scarborough Agincourt, my volunteers, my community, my friends, and finally, my family. Scarborough Agincourt has been my home since 1991. My two nieces, Gasia, which means cinnamon in Armenian, and Mary, which means honey in Armenian, were both born there. I am a founding member of the Wishing Well Community Association and served on its board for 2 terms. I was also one of the founding members of the Willowdale Legal Aid Clinic and served on its board for 1 term. Scarborough Agincourt is one of the most diverse ridings in Ontario. Many ethnic communities call the riding home. Amongst them are the Chinese, Greek, Tamil, Filipino, Armenian, Italian, South Asian, Hispanic, Lebanese, Coptic, Middle Eastern, East European, Afro-Canadians, and many more. They all help enrich the riding's social fabric and its multicultural nature, making it an ideal place to live and work. We are proud to be the home of Vimy Oaks Farm. Leslie Miller, who fought in the Battle of Vimy Ridge, gathered a handful of acorns from the battlefield and planted them in his farmland in Scarborough. It is now home to the Scarborough Chinese Baptist Church on Kennedy Road. He called his farm Vimy Oaks Farm. Today, several of the original oaks still survive. However, the oaks at Vimy Ridge in France have not survived. The Vimy Foundation, in partnership with the Vimy Oaks Legacy Corporation, is working to repatriate those Vimy Oaks of Scarborough Agincourt back to Vimy to help preserve Canada's First World War legacy through the creation of a living memorial. Additionally, the Scarborough Hospital, Birchmont site, formerly Grace Hospital, is also located in our riding. I am sure under the leadership of Premier Doug Ford, the riding will become home of the Bridletown Community Health Hub, where it will host the biggest dialysis center in Ontario. After 21 years of Liberal reign in Scarborough Agincourt, our riding residents decided that it is time for change. They resolutely believed in Ford's nation message of revising the sex ed education curriculum, extending the Shepherd subway line to Scarborough Town Centre, ending the hallway healthcare debacle, reducing skyrocketing hydro rates, restoring the public's trust in government, and bring accountability and fiscal responsibility to Queen's Park. I'm overwhelmed by their confidence and trust in Premier Ford, the BC Party, and me. Over 50% of our residents voted for me. I would like to thank the hundreds of volunteers who also believed in our mission. Over 21-month journey culminated with the June 7 victory. I would like to make special mention of the youths who were core of my volunteers. I would like also to pay special mention to 2 12-year-olds who were the heart and the soul of the campaign. I would like to mention Aris Babikian, who is here with us today in the gallery with his mother. and Garen Demirjan. Both of them, they were amazing. They were at the campaign office every day. They have a bright future ahead of them. My gratitude also goes to my sister, Sevan Hajinian, who was my campaign manager, my mother, and the rest of my family. Without the hard work, commitment, and the sacrifices of the volunteers and family, I would not be standing here among my esteemed colleagues of this House. Mr. Speaker, the biggest influence on my life and my lifelong dedication to help others was my grandfather. My grandfather was a survivor of the 1915 Armenian genocide. He was 6 years old when he witnessed the brutal killing of his 6 brothers and sisters, in addition to his father and 40 extended members of his family. When I was a kid, I used to listen to the horrific trauma that he lived through. I would see the sadness in his eyes. He always encouraged me to help others, to defend the vulnerable and the persecuted members of not only my society, but also anywhere they lived. He was so proud of me. I was his first grandchild. Unfortunately, he did not live to witness this day. By the way, close to 100 years ago, Ontario became a pioneer in welcoming refugees when the province brought over 120 orphan children between the age of 8 and 10 to Ontario. They purchased a farm in Georgetown and gave a new lease on life to these survivors of the Armenian genocide. We should be proud of our history of welcoming refugees. Since my arrival to Canada in 1978, I have been actively involved in the Canadian civil society and the multicultural communities. My contribution included political, social, neighborhood, multi-faith, human rights, social services, education, immigration, culture, and other spheres. I have served as a citizenship judge, World Vision Canada Multicultural Council Ambassador, Chair of Levant Settlement Center, Secretary of the Canadian Ethnocultural Council, and member of the National Ethnic Press and Media Council of Canada. As a citizenship judge, I have lectured on human rights, civic participation, tolerance, Canadian values and traditions. I am grateful to my friend, the Honorable Jason Kenney, the former Minister of Immigration and Citizenship, for providing me the unique opportunity to serve the people of Canada as a citizenship judge for 6 years. I have a strong regard to our youths. They are our future. I have been Wolf Cup and Boy Scouts leader, soccer coach, and youth advisor. Many of the young people that I have mentored have become leaders in their communities, organizations, and successful members of our civil society. As a Secretary of the Canadian Ethnocultural Council, I established excellent relationship with the leaders of our diverse social mosaic, participating in the National Umbrella Organization's Roundtable on United Nations Conference Against Racism, Racial Discrimination, Xenophobia, and Related Intolerances, consulting with high-level federal officials and ministers regarding changes in the Canadian Immigration and Citizenship Act, testifying at the House of Commons Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration hearings regarding the Syrian refugee program. I also testified at the House of Commons Standing Committee on Canadian Heritage and CRTC. I was also the founding member of the Darfur Solidarity Coalition. These are some of the highlights of my recent public service activities. I also acted as a monitor on behalf of the Organization for Security and Cooperation Council in Europe during the 2003 parliamentary elections in Armenia. Serving as the president of the Armenian National Federation of Canada and the first executive director of the Government Relations Office of the Armenian National Committee of Canada were additional milestones in my public calling. Together with friends, we participated in the private sponsorship and settling over 250 Syrian refugee families. The refugees have become productive members of our community. Many were self-employed and have bought houses. Some even contributed to the recent Progressive Conservative Party victory in Scarborough Agincourt. Volunteerism, especially encouraging our youth to volunteer and get involved, has always been a priority of mine. So is the conviction that the sky is the limit for any Canadian who is willing to put the time and make the effort, regardless of one's color, religion, race, name, or ethnicity. Canada offers equal opportunity for all of us. In recognition of my contributions to our country, the Canadian government awarded me the Queen Elizabeth II Golden and Diamond Jubilee Medals and Canada's 125th Confederation Commemoration Medal, while Ontario honored me with its 20-year Volunteer Service Award. I will be forever grateful to Canada, to Ontario, and to Canadians for providing me a safe haven, to me and to my family, and for offering me the opportunity to fulfill my potentials. My contribution of the last 40 years is a small token of appreciation to the country which gave me and my family so much. Thank you very much, Speaker, Madam Speaker.